The troops of the North Vietnamese Army, or NVA, pushed forward through the suffocating heat of dense jungle. Overhead, the towering canopy of trees wove together, shielding them from the unrelenting gaze of the American surveillance aircraft patrolling the skies. For the NVA, the shadowy stretch of the infamous Ho Chi Minh Trail was a vital lifeline, crucial for ferrying supplies from the north to the Viet Cong fighters in the south. In the oppressive silence, they allowed themselves a fleeting sense of security, the kind only the jungle could provide. But that security was a lie. Something was stalking them, something new, something lethal. The small, agile drone zipped through the jungle canopy, skimming just above the treetops. Powered by advanced artificial intelligence, it navigated the tangled branches effortlessly. Equipped with an ultra-sensitive thermal sensor, the drone could detect even the subtlest differences in heat. A mere fraction of a degree separating a human body from the stifling 90-plus degree surroundings. Its onboard AI analyzed this information in real time as it searched for distinctive human-like patterns. It missed nothing, able to tell the difference between a human, just even an arm or a leg, and a natural plant growth or even wild animals. Once it made the detection, it sent an alert back to its operator. The UAS operator, a cutting-edge addition to America's elite 21st century SEAL fighting forces, worked swiftly. The drone's feed illuminated heat signatures scattered through the dense jungle canopy, proof of the enemy's presence. But there was one problem. Identifying the NVA troops hidden beneath the thick jungle was one thing. Targeting them posed a far greater challenge. The rest of America's 1969 military operated with technology that felt ancient compared to the futuristic arsenal this elite detachment of time-traveling warriors had brought to the fight. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. This was the general motto of the American Special Forces. The detecting drone slipped below the canopy and dropped its tiny cargo, a small radio transmitter that tumbled to the jungle floor, disappearing in the undergrowth. The whizzing of the drone caught the attention of the NVA troops. Heads turned, eyes scanned the trees above looking for a threat, but they were left perplexed when the drone disappeared over the treetops. Some speculated an American helicopter might be lurking nearby, but their instincts told them otherwise. They had heard the familiar roar of Hueys countless times before. This was nothing like that. Matter of fact, nothing in 1968 sounded like this at all. Hesitant and confused, the NVA column moved forward again, and straight into the SEAL's trap. The tiny radio transmitter, almost invisible on the jungle floor, provided a powerful signal that could be interpreted by onboard equipment on a pair of orbiting AC-130 gunships. Their advanced artillery systems locked onto the jungle below with precision that 1968 technology could only dream of. The NVA troops, still scanning the skies for the mysterious drone, were utterly unprepared. Even before they could hear the distinct drone of engines overhead, the AC-130s unleashed a devastating barrage. 105mm shells and 20mm cannon fire rained down from above, drowning the screams of the panicking NVA formation and its assortment of pack animals. The NVA formation split into several smaller groups, desperately fleeing for their lives. Drones chased after the fleeing groups, the operators on the other end relaying targeting information to the orbiting gunships. Whereas in the past, gunship ambushes had succeeded in destroying supplies and trucks, now they were decimating the very troops North Vietnam relied on to bring the supplies to the south. And this was only the first of many more such ambushes to come. The human cost to North Vietnam was rising quickly. The cost of maintaining the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a route that was key for the Viet Cong's efforts to overthrow the South, was ballooning out of proportion. Days later, the 21st century SEALs are on the hunt for a new target. This time, the flight promises to be close and personal. But first, you want to know what's crazy about the potential TikTok ban? You or I could go to any data broker's website right now and buy anyone's data for a few bucks. It's completely legal. Just the other day, I searched my name and there it was. Old addresses, phone numbers, even email addresses I haven't used in years. It's so easy and cheap for scammers and spammers to get this information. If the government can ban TikTok, why do they still allow this? It's on us to protect ourselves. That's why I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura keeps you safe online by doing all the hard work for me. They'll identify data brokers who are selling my information and submit opt-out requests on my behalf. Give Aura a few weeks and you'll stop seeing your information on those sites when you search for yourself, which will lead to less spam. Aura will also continuously monitor the dark web and alert me if they find my personal information exposed. They're going to let me know fast if anyone tries to use this information to access my credit or bank accounts. Plus, they give me up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst-case scenario happen. The Aura app also has a VPN with over 100 virtual locations. Does your current VPN have all these other features too? You can go to my link, aura.com/infographics, or scan the QR code to try 14 days for free. That'll be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. Now back to the video. NVA leaders have entrenched themselves across the northern half of South Vietnam, their operations concealed deep within the jungle. From these strongholds, they vanish into sprawling tunnel complexes that stretch for miles. Some of these tunnels are vast enough to conceal an entire company of troops, functioning as underground fortresses. From these hidden strongholds, NVA generals send and receive orders, orchestrating their relentless fight against the Americans and their allies. Finding and eliminating these senior figures are key for the war effort, but the task has proven far too difficult given the terrain. Until now. The SEALs' arsenal of drones deployed back to 1969 Vietnam includes an array of long-endurance, high-altitude models equipped with cutting-edge surveillance tools. These drones boast thermal imaging, electronic warfare systems capable of intercepting enemy radio signals, and onboard AI that provides them with a remarkable degree of autonomy. These drones can cover hundreds of square miles and loiter over targets for days, with solar panels extending battery life to allow flight times of just over 24 hours. The persistent coverage has paid off, triangulating the location of an NVA stronghold deep in the jungle. The NVA are aware of the American electronic warfare capabilities and rarely ever communicate via radio, preferring to send runners. The drone network has started tracking these runners, and by analyzing their movements and routes, the AI can triangulate a rough origin point for their base. From there, the drone's advanced electronic warfare systems, far more sensitive than anything available to America's 1969 military, can detect the low-energy, infrequent transmissions the NVA stronghold uses to maintain contact with its chain of command in the north. SEALs stalk through the jungle, closing in on their prey. Their uniforms are like nothing the Vietnam-era counterparts wear. The camouflage pattern actually uses an optical illusion effect to trick the human eye. It's a very subtle effect, but enough to delay detection by precious moments. They're also fire retardant and embedded with antimicrobial elements to prevent infections out in the field. Over the uniform, lightweight body armor capable of stopping even a 7.62mm round affords chest and back protection. Tactical helmets come embedded with a variety of electronics, including inter-squad radio comms and throat mics that don't require a SEAL to raise his voice in order to broadcast. Bone conduction headphones allow the ear to remain clear of obstruction and be alert. They move at night, increasing their advantages considerably over the NVA quarry. Drones have used millimeter wave radio to precisely map the NVA position, while being small enough and flying high enough to not reveal their presence. The stronghold consists of some above-ground fortifications, like sandbagged fighting positions, some listening and observation posts, and various entries into the subterranean layers. What lies beneath is unknown, but the SEALs have brought tools for that too. But first, the above-ground security element has to be dispatched as silently as possible. Equipped with the latest generation night vision goggles, the SEALs are able to approach within 100 meters of each of the 3 camouflage defensive positions that surround the exterior of the compound. Moving in from the northeast, northwest, and southwest, the SEALs can see clearly through the ink-black jungle thanks to 2 bits of gear. Their night vision goggles not only provide enhanced night vision, but overhead drones network directly with the night vision to help target enemy troops. The augmented reality display gives the time-traveling warriors a superhuman level of vision in the dark. The ambush comes in stages. Several hundred meters behind the lead SEAL elements, 3 drone warfare specialists unzip the large backpacks they've been humping in the jungle since their insertion via helicopter 6 miles back. The backpacks are laid flat and open, revealing a beehive-like structure in the interior. From each of the cells of the backpack, they remove a small drone, which they place on a small clearing next to them. With 9 drones per backpack, the small fleet now numbers at 27. It's now a simple matter of firing up the small tablet, built to be waterproof and ruggedized against the rigors of cross-country treks and combat both. The flexible LCD display is decades ahead of any technology the rest of the US military currently possesses, and unfolds to power up the tablet. Within seconds, the tablet has established a link to the drones, and then to the Overwatch drones already flying high above the target area. They're only capable of short-range communications without additional support from 21st century systems the modern military uses. But at these short ranges, the drones can operate without additional help. With a finger tap, the swarm of drones comes to life and automatically hover 5 feet above the ground. The drone operator pulls up an aerial view from one of the Overwatch drones and draws in a target with his finger. The swarm of drones lurch forward in the darkness at a speedy 15 miles an hour. Using sensors and collision avoidance software, the drones are easily able to navigate the dense jungle, increasing their speed until they reach nearly 30 miles an hour. The noise of the swarm becomes audible just moments before it arrives, causing confusion amongst the NVA. They've never heard a sound like this before, and one man instinctively reaches for a radio to report back to the headquarters element 60 feet below ground. Several hundred meters away, a SEAL sniper who's been tracking the various NVA positions and looking for communications gear spots the radio operator. The shot is tricky. Right in front of his target is a large branch protruding from a tree, but he's not concerned. He's already calculated the wind, temperature, distance, and a variety of other factors. He steadies his breath and waits for the perfect moment. And then it comes. The radio operator steps out from behind the tree. The sniper squeezes the trigger, and the bullet explodes out of his barrel. It crosses the jungle in mere seconds before smashing through the radio operator's breastbone and silencing his radio call in a gurgling, blood-filled cry. Then the drones arrive. The drones become visible to the NVA just moments before striking. Initially mistaken for a swarm of oversized insects, but these are no bugs, although they do pack a devastating sting. Each drone is armed with a few grams of high explosives, and through advanced networking, they autonomously designate targets, coordinating to ensure no two drones strike the same one. Most of the drones go for NVA soldiers, crashing into them and detonating their explosive payload. The rest of the drones automatically detect communications equipment, like field radios or heavy machine guns, and destroy those. But their nightmare isn't over, because the lead SEAL elements are hot on the heels of the drone swarm. Their HK-416 rifles bark out in the dark, muzzle flashes suppressed to avoid revealing their location. Some of the NVA defenders, gripped by panic, begin firing blindly into the dark as the relentless drone and ground assault shatters their command and control. The shock and awe leaves them disoriented as chaos erupts. Eventually, an NVA soldier manages to fire off a series of flares, bathing the jungle in sudden light. The SEAL's advanced night vision devices automatically adjust, switching to a less intense mode to prevent blinding. While this limits their natural vision in the dark, their augmented reality displays continue to relay targeting data from overhead drones. Even through glare, darkness, and obstructions like trees and sandbags, painted silhouettes of confirmed hostiles remain clearly visible. A ring of landmines surround the NVA position, but these have been mapped out by the Overwatch drones after days of observing messengers come and go. 2 SEALs fall victim to landmine explosions, though no plan can ever be perfect in combat. Medics rush to their aid, but while they're able to stop serious bleeding, one of the men has lost a significant amount of blood. A radio call is placed to the drone staging area, positioned a mile and a half behind the front lines. This time, a different kind of drone takes to the sky. Not a combat drone, but a medic drone, designed to navigate autonomously without pre-programming or human input. Its payload includes a variety of life-saving equipment, most important of which is life-saving bags of plasma and other liquids. Blood loss is a leading cause of combat casualties, and while bleeding can be stopped, it's just as important to replace the blood before organ and brain functions crash. The medical drones fly above the canopy and home in on the medic's signal, dipping down from above the trees to drop their payloads before flying back home to be re-equipped. The entire process is completely autonomous. The above-ground security element is quickly neutralized. Overwatching snipers, using a combination of thermal and night vision, act quickly to prevent any NVA soldier from ducking into one of the entrances to the underground fortress. It's not time for the SEALs to make an assault down into the depths of the earth. In the past, the US military was never able to get the drop on these NVA underground strongholds, allowing their defenders plenty of time to rig a variety of booby traps for immediate deployment. The shock and the speed of the SEAL assault has afforded them the time, but there are still serious dangers waiting for them below, and the SEALs have tools for that too. The tunnels are barely big enough for a man to run through while squatting down, favoring the smaller size of the North Vietnamese soldiers. The SEALs will have to strip off most of their gear save for their weapons, armored vests, and helmets with augmented reality night vision. But leading the way once more is drones. One is a wheeled vehicle which will easily detect any false floors or other traps. The other is a flying drone that can operate even beyond the line of sight and navigate in tight confines by itself. It can send low-quality video footage through the twists and turns of the tunnels to the SEALs, alerting them of what's ahead. More than once, the SEALs have to rescue the wheeled drone from a false floor trap, but by activating them it saves lives and allows them to bypass the deadly hazard. The speed of their assault has prevented the NVA from activating any of their other infamous traps, such as passages rigged with explosives in case of an intrusion. After several dozen feet, the narrow passage expands into a larger space, where a series of chambers have been painstakingly carved from the earth. This underground complex serves as a hidden hub where NVA soldiers trained, ate, and slept, complete with chow halls, armories, and dormitories. The defenders, anticipating an attack, have cut most of the power, leaving only a few strategically placed lights. This gives them just enough visibility to spot and fire on the Americans before they can fully advance. But even the pitch black is of no consequence to the SEALs' night vision. Normally, night vision in pitch black will struggle to see much of anything, as it requires even a little ambient light to work with. But with the use of infrared lights, the night vision-equipped SEALs can see as brightly as if it was a high noon environment, leaving the defending NVA troops at a severe disadvantage. Struggling to see through the faint, dim lights they've left on, they're forced to squint and strain, unaware of the full scope of the danger advancing toward them. They don't get much of a chance, though. SEAL fire from their semi-automatic rifles is deadly accurate in pitch black, while newly replaced suppressors don't give the enemy much of a muzzle flash to fire back at. To clear individual rooms or bends in a tunnel, the SEALs send scout drones in first, followed up by a barrage of flashbang explosives. Specialized hearing aids equipped with active noise-canceling technology shield the SEALs from deafening explosions echoing through the tunnels. In the tight confines of the underground, the concussive booms of grenades are amplified, but the hearing aids generate precise counter-sound waves, neutralizing the noise before it can enter the SEALs' ear canals and cause permanent damage. The NVA, however, have no such protection, and they are blinded and deafened by the flashbang grenades. These specialized stun devices have been chosen for one specific reason. The SEALs aren't here to kill everyone, only those that are of low intelligence value. Senior NVA officials, however, are of very high intelligence value, and it's them that the SEALs are here to capture. Plus, the flashbangs help preserve other sources of intelligence, like documents, maps, and electronic equipment that might be destroyed by traditional fragmentation grenades. A mix of high technology and elite training yields an intelligence bonanza, the SEALs suffering only light casualties. With the aid of advanced medical equipment and autonomous drones, the SEALs are able to prevent life-threatening injuries from becoming critical. Overall, given the massive intelligence coup the raid has resulted in, the SEALs' assault is one of the most successful operations of the entire war. Could modern Navy SEALs and their tech change the outcome of the Vietnam War? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments. Now go check out What If a Single F-22 Time Traveled to Germany During World War II, or click on this video instead.